Who are some second half sleepers, guys?
I'll go with one to start. I'll go with let's go with Keon Coleman. So I know there's been a lot of discussion around the Coleman situation. A lot of people some people made the case that
it's like this one. I disagree very strongly, but I am also the same guy. We said someone had a question: is Kareem Hunt going to be a league winner? And
we're talking about sleepers here. We got to dig deep.
Hell no, I was way wrong about that. All right, go ahead, make your case for Keon Coleman.
No, I'm just going to say I saw Jacob tweet a little bit about it. 22% target share, 34% air yardage share for him. These are all career bests for him. I just think he's a talented enough player. I liked his valuation in the draft, and I think he has a chance to be a sleeper. Now, I'm not saying it's because Cooper was added yesterday, but I think in general, Cooper's addition to this offense is going to help players like Keon Coleman and anyone who's on the field, because Josh Allen threw for 325 against a defense that had limited passing games for the most part going into that game. Things are going to get better for what?
They didn't have Snead. They didn't have their top cornerback, but
okay.
Fair point.
Things are getting, yeah.
What about the stat I gave that he didn't have a single target when Amari Cooper was on the field?
That's bad. That's not a great stat. Look, we're digging deep for sleepers. Like my other guys I have
Cooper
on my list.
Cooper only ran 12 routes, to be fair.
Look, sleepers, we can't say like George Pickens going to have a breakout or like, like you have to dig deep. And like my other guys are even deeper calls. So we'll see what happens when we get to those. I might get immediate buzzard again.
I actually don't have any names, so you can just keep on going.
I'll do two more, and then I'll let Jacob take over because I think he's going to do a better job than me. My next guy on my list was Ricky Pearsall. Deal with Ricky Pearsall. Saw the stats on the routes as well from Jacob. 32 routes and 37 dropbacks. I like that. 18 in the slot. I like that a lot. For me, when it comes to Ricky Pearsall, I'm just sticking with my evaluation of what I saw on tape at Florida. He was Ladd McConkey, but I felt like he was a better version. He had the ability to high point and make catches away from his frame. Really good in that contested catch situations. Explosive in and out of his breaks. And he's on an offense that I believe will get much better once Christian McCaffrey returns. So he's just somebody I'm betting on talent. I'm betting on the draft pedigree. I'm betting on the offensive system, and I'm betting on increased usage. I can't think of a better guy for me to stash. I actually have him above Coleman, even though I mentioned Coleman first. Last one for me.
Just counterpoint.
Yes.
I like where your head's at there, but I actually would say Jauan Jennings.
Yep.
I think he's going to play ahead.
That was my first name. I'm really glad that you brought up.
I'm fine with that too, but I think both can make impact the rest of the season. We'll see if I'm wrong or right about that. Last one. Jerry Jeudy. We're talking, remember, we have to do sleepers here. We're not just like saying like, oh, like you could just pick like Tony Pollard. Like you can't pick names. It's sleepers for a reason. And when it comes to Jerry Jeudy, I like the upside if Jameis Winston can play. You don't like this one?
No, I just like, obviously I'm not going to say Tony Pollard. Who's going to say Tony Pollard? Like
what? Like, okay, who would you have said? First of all, Adam, you came up with 0.
Oh, I think Xavier Worthy is definitely one. Someone said it in the chat, but I was going to say it as well. Kimani Vidal is someone you really should.
That's what I'm on.
Trey Benson is definitely someone
that's what I'm on.
There you go.
Disappointed in myself. I don't like my sleepers the more I think about it. But you know what? I'll go back to the drawing board and I'll be better next week.
Yeah, go ahead, Jacob. Give us good names.
Jonathon Brooks, of course. Blake Corum and Kimani Vidal. Both of those guys, their starting running backs are people who have had health issues in the past, and they have to maintain like health for 2.5 months straight because they already had early season bye weeks. So if you can afford to use a roster spot on one of those guys, do it. Tyjae Spears, same kind of thing. I'm worried about Tony Pollard holding up. The offense is absolutely abysmal. They have to their only choice is to like run everything through Pollard. He's playing really well, but man, I don't know if he's going to be able to do that for, the next 6 to 8 weeks. And if he doesn't, then Spears comes back healthy and has a really nice runway with the matchups at the end of the year. He's probably free. I would guess he's getting dropped in a lot of leagues. Trey Benson, we know James Conner gets hurt. Wide receiver. I did this last week in the newsletter. I think I might do this going forward on Fridays. It's like players I would buy if I have a 5-1 team or whatever. Players I would be looking to buy if I need immediate help. Darnell Mooney, I think, is somebody to buy who might help you a lot in the immediate, like short term. Him and Jordan Addison, I think they're a little bit overlooked. They've got some potential shootouts coming up these next few weeks. And then long term guys, it's I don't know, maybe this is too mainstream of a name for Dan, but Jalen Waddle seems like you could get him really, really cheap, and it sounds like Tua is coming back.
Yeah, I like that buy.
Yeah, and Schaefer's giving me crap for picking players who are rostered. I didn't know this was supposed to be just free agent sleepers. I think it's also like kind of like buy lows.
We already hit on Eric All, and then Jauan Jennings, for real. Like, I just want to prioritize this. He's 4th in the NFL behind Nico Collins, Justin Jefferson, and Chris Godwin in fantasy points per route run. His per route data is absolutely insane this year. 25% target per route run rate, 2.8 yards per route run. That's 3rd best. And if you look at his career without Ayuk on the field, this is a small sample size, 66 routes, but only 11 of these came this year. So it's the bulk of the sample size was accumulated before this season. Without Ayuk on the field, 24% target per route run rate, identical to what I just said there, 25%, 2.73 yards per route run, basically identical to this year's numbers. So we have some precedent that suggests that what he's doing this year isn't completely random.
I'm excited.
And without Ayuk, I think he's the most logical guy to play the X receiver role. It was Chris Conley this past week. I don't know. To me, like a receiver trio of Deebo Samuel, Ricky Pearsall, and him seems a bit redundant. So I'm worried that Chris Conley might play more than Ricky Pearsall people want. I don't know. But either way, I do think he's going to be heavily involved and potentially their top target down the field.
This Pearsall call by me has not been well received by anybody but our producer, Schaefer. I will say this. Earlier this show, Adam snapped on a commenter today in the private chat. Adam was really, really nasty towards Thomas in one of these comments. Adam, what is going on with you, buddy? You should be happy. The Yankees are in the World Series. Everything is going right in your world. Miami's undefeated. What is going on, man?
Well, it's probably just the Giants. No, I'm in a great mood today. I
snapped on Schaefer.
I didn't snap on Schaefer. I was joking, calling him a mean word.
I don't know if that didn't read like a joke.
He gave me, I think, unfair criticism. I think I'm being unfairly criticized today.
So quite clearly you weren't joking. Now that the truth came out, you felt like you were being unfairly criticized, so you snapped at Schaefer. It's okay. We all have our moments.
Jalen Tolbert, another sleeper for me, but not like a huge.
I like Tolbert.
Sure.
Honestly, I would say Dak Prescott is a buy low. I think
maybe.
I just think it could not possibly be any worse for Dak Prescott, and hopefully the Cowboys offense just in general. There's another offense, right? Underachieving. Which teams aren't underachieving offensively? It's crazy, but